What's up, everybody? This is the bonus lecture, and we're going to talk about online slang and online words and phrases. Definitely don't want to use any of what you're about to learn in business correspondence or in an academic paper or any formal setting. This is for online use. It's very informal, and it doesn't get much more informal than this, as a matter of fact. But it'll definitely help you communicate and understand what people are saying to you or saying to other people online. First of all, a few terms. LOL, you may have heard, laugh out loud. LOL has been around forever. You can change that up, say things like ROTFL, rolling on the floor laughing. But LOL is the most common form of that. SMH, you may have seen that, very similar. Literally shaking my head. So it could be a funny situation or it could be a sad situation. All the rioting going on down south in the US, seeing a lot of people shaking their heads online. They don't like what they're seeing. They're frustrated. You could also shake your head if you see a funny video. Maybe someone tries to ride a wheelchair up an escalator in a subway station. Doesn't work so well. I've seen that video. SMH was pretty common there. So SMH, shaking my head, either because it's funny or because it's weird or because it's sad or something. SMH. All right, next up, OMG. You might know this already, very common, oh my God. OMG. Next up, IMO. You might see this online, maybe in a message board. You're giving your opinion, it means in my opinion. So for instance, IMO, English is a difficult language to learn, or IMO, English is an easy language to learn. Sometimes you see IMHO, in my honest opinion. Same thing. IMO, in my opinion. When you are about to give your opinion, give your idea about something. All right, next up, TBH means to be honest. You could even use those two together. IMO, TBH. In my opinion, to be honest. TBH, I think New York is a really loud place that I don't want to live. TBH, to be honest. You're not holding back. You're being real. You're being genuine. TBH. All right, next up. This is an interesting one. You see this on forums too. TLDR. TLDR. You might see this on a message board or a forum posted by someone right after someone else posted a very long post, very long comment. The next person doesn't want to read that whole comment, so they write TLDR, meaning too long, didn't read. So they might say, TLDR, can you say it shorter than that? Can you summarize? TLDR, you're saying that was too long, so I didn't read it. It's interesting, though, this expression is also employed by, sometimes, the person who writes a long post. They might write their post, and then at the very end, because they know that some people aren't going to read it because it was so long, they'll write TLDR and then give a summary for all the people who didn't read it because it was too long. I'll give you an example. Maybe I'm posting on a English forum an explanation. Someone wants to know how to conjugate verbs. And I might say, well, you add this letter to this verb for this conjugation, or you add a different letter to another verb for this other conjugation, and here's some other exceptions and other rules. Usually it's this way, sometimes it's this way. So it's a very long explanation I'm giving, right? And at the end of that, since I know some people didn't read the whole thing, I'll write TLDR. It's usually like this, but there are a couple exceptions. So I'm summarizing my post. Another example would be explaining to people how to make words plural. And typically you add an S to nouns to make them plural, except for certain words like geese is the plural for goose. Obviously I changed a couple other letters there. I could go on and on in my post about this, but at the end of it I'll write TLDR. Usually you add an S to make something plural, but there's some exceptions. I summarized the post after I wrote TLDR. All right, so bottom line, TLDR means too long didn't read. You can either type it on line to refer to someone else's long post, or you can put it at the end of your post prior to a summary, because presumably other people will believe that what you wrote was too long and they didn't read it. So TLDR, too long, didn't read. Those are some acronyms for you. Let's wrap up with a few terms. First of all, we covered troll earlier in the noun section, but I wanted to repeat it here because it's so common online. Do you remember what that means? Troll. It's someone who posts on a message board because they want to get negative reaction. They want to upset people. They don't really want to contribute to the conversation or be honest. So sometimes people will accuse others of being trolls even if they weren't, even if they were being honest. You might see posts like, I think the original poster was a troll. She didn't really mean what she said. And remember, troll can be a verb as well. You can troll. Sometimes you'll see people write, he must be trolling. You must be trolling. So that's a troll. Never good to be accused of being a troll. It means you're trying to start a fight. By the way, speaking of original posters, on a message board, each entry is called a post. And the original post, the post that starts the conversation, is the original post. And the person that wrote the original post is called the original poster. And sometimes you'll see that abbreviated as OP. The original poster is an OP. Okay, so if you see someone write something like, the OP was wrong about something, or the OP was right, that's what they mean. That's OP, original poster, the person who began the conversation. Just a side note, that's an important thing to know too. Speaking of conversations online, you may have heard the word thread. The word thread refers to each conversation. So on a message board, you might have categories. Like on an English message board, you might have a category for nouns, verbs, random questions, and then within each category, anyone can start a conversation. You could start a conversation, when do I use an exclamation point, for instance? That would be a thread. You've started a thread. People respond to it. Maybe you follow up with thanking people for their answers, asking follow-up questions. That whole conversation is called a thread. And you're the original poster. You're the OP if you started the thread. So that's what a thread is. Next up is inbox. Now you probably know inbox as a noun would be something like an email queue where your new mail comes. On Facebook there's an inbox for new messages. Most online social media services have an inbox where incoming messages land. Inbox can actually also be used as a verb. I say it all the time to people, if you have any questions, inbox me. Now you might ask, does that mean email inbox or Facebook inbox or which inbox? Because you probably have 10. Well, it's context specific. So if I'm posting on Facebook, please inbox me if you have details on something, then that would mean send me a Facebook message. If I'm typing email and I say, inbox me if you know an answer to something, that would mean send me an email, reply to this email. So it's context specific. If I said to you right now, inbox me, then you could get away with anything. You could send me an email, you could send me a Facebook message, however you've been doing it, or however is convenient to you. So that's inbox as a noun and as a verb. Inbox me, I'll inbox you. I'll send you a message on one platform or another. And by platform I mean email, Facebook, Google, plus any sort of inbox. And finally, meme. I'm sure that you know some memes even if you're not familiar with the term. The modern day usage of meme online refers to pictures, especially pictures with funny text. It can refer to videos. It can refer to cute terms, phrases that people probably find funny. These tend to be humorous, positive things. For instance, about 10 years ago, there was a viral video that went out with this funny-looking kid holding a lightsaber and swinging it around. Call it the Star Wars kid. Well, soon the Star Wars kid was everywhere. The video was everywhere, but not just the video. There were pictures of the Star Wars kid. People were making their own versions of the Star Wars kid, starring themselves, calling them Star Wars Kid Remix. Well, the Star Wars kid was a meme. The words, the pictures, the videos, they all related to the theme of the Star Wars kid, and we termed that a meme. These days you see a lot of funny pictures that have text at the top and text at the bottom, and they're usually making a point, maybe making a political point or saying something humorous, making a statement of some sort. Those are memes too. A funny meme that I've been noticing lately is a one-word meme, because. It's a very short way of saying because of science, for instance. Because of Barack Obama. People will simply say because Barack Obama, because science, because something. Often they're making fun of that something. Often they don't like that something. They might be saying, oh, we're getting higher taxes next year because Barack Obama. They don't like, presumably, what Barack Obama is doing with the taxes. So that's a meme in that case. Because is a meme. So if you see a word that's repeated a lot online, maybe you're seeing posts about it, something new, especially something graphical, maybe an animated GIF, which are those small, low quality videos that repeat without any audio. Those convey memes as well. So memes, little viral media content that's all over the internet. I'm sure you've seen a few of those. Well, that's it for online in your bonus lecture. If you have any questions about any of this, inbox me.